Josh Taylor has responded to Cyclone Promotions with regards to their claim that they've still got him under contract. Taylor responded with the following on Twitter. He said, "Whilst I acknowledge and appreciate the role that Cyclone has played in my career to date, 3 weeks ago I terminated my promotional agreement with Cyclone as a result of various breaches of contract, including, in particular, breaches relating to a conflict of interest on the part of the promoter. That allowed me to search for a new promoter, which I have found in Top Rank. I wanted to part ways amicably and without resorting to court proceedings. I thought and hoped the Mcguigan'S would feel the same way, given the litigation they are involved in with other fighters. I hope all of us can now move on in a positive way, concentrating on things which advance us all." So there you have it. He says that the Mcguigan'S breached the contract, which allowed him to terminate his promotional pact and look for a different promoter. He also alludes to the legal issues that the Mcguigan'S are still having with other fighters, plural. I'm not sure if there's more than one. I certainly know about Carl Frampton. I wasn't sure whether that legal situation was ongoing. Perhaps it is. And if it is ongoing, then what Josh Taylor appears to be saying here is that the Mcguigan'S ain't got the money, really, to fight two legal battles at the same time. Perhaps that's why he felt that he could get out of this contract without too much hassle, because the Mcguigan'S have already got a legal case, which, and you know how much lawyers cost, they've already got a legal case they're battling. If they didn't have that legal case, would Josh Taylor have been so keen to step away? See, when you are a small promotional outfit and a much larger promotional outfit comes along and scoops up your former fighter, let's just say that, they've got far more money to pay for the lawyers. So even if you do have a case, if it gets dragged through court, it could end up bankrupting you, you know? So do you want to go down that road and risk potentially losing? And even if the other side lose, you know, imagine how much business you might have, you know, lost out on during the time of fighting the legal battle. How much, just imagine how much it's going to take away from your day-to-day involvement in what you're supposed to be doing. But look, for some promoters, it's just about getting a check. So if they really think they've got a watertight legal case, they'll see it through to the end because they just want that check. It is what it is. I've seen some people say, I believe Vinny Paz, I was listening to a Boxing Beats and Rhymes video, and he said that Vinny Pazienza responds to one of these tweets here, saying that Josh Taylor shouldn't be saying anything about this case or about his situation publicly. He should just leave it to his lawyers. Well, I could be wrong here, and maybe some people will find this disrespectful, but looking at the language that is used here in these tweets, I don't think Josh Taylor wrote these tweets by himself. No disrespect, okay? But I don't think he wrote these tweets. Just looking at the language, the way the sentences are structured, the way the words are chosen, I think that somebody from either MTK, you know, Josh Taylor's management team, or a lawyer or someone like that has at least looked over these tweets before they've gone out, if not written them themselves. That's my personal suspicion. I don't think Josh Taylor wrote these. So, yeah, I don't think he's too worried about what he puts in these tweets. I could be wrong, of course. Perhaps they'll get taken down tomorrow. But I suspect that these have already been looked over before they've gone out. It doesn't sound like the language of a boxer, at least not this particular boxer, to me. So that's my take on it. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section below about Josh Taylor and the Mcguigan'S. Will it turn into a long, protracted legal battle like it apparently is with Carl Frampton? Or will Josh Taylor be able to step away without too much hassle? I mean, there was a case with Artur Beterbiev, of course, where he was trying to break free from Yvonne Michel. Now, Yvonne Michel, as far as I'm aware, is a lot more powerful, probably has a lot more money than the Mcguigan'S. And he held on to Beterbiev as long as he could. Ultimately, Beterbiev went to the zone first, and then he went over to ESPN, which is where he tried to go in the first place. So he eventually achieved his goal. But there was a out of court settlement. I think there was some kind of severance package or whatever for Yvonne Michelle, and all parties had to come to before Beterbiev could be on his way. Perhaps we'll see something similar here, or perhaps not. I mean, if you look at Mick Hennessy, for example, Mick Hennessy has lost many fighters over the years, from Carl Froch, James DeGale, Eubank Jr., and in some cases, Hennessy has threatened legal action or hinted at legal action, but nothing's ever come of it because those fighters have gone to be with much more powerful promoters, with powerful broadcasters who have got the best lawyers and the most money, and Mick Hennessy just doesn't have, not only doesn't have the money, but probably doesn't have the will to try and push it through and end up in some protracted court battle, because those things are stressful, people, particularly if you're a small promoter and you're going to battle against a much larger promoter or a TV company. It's very, very stressful for the smaller guy. And he's going to wake up every day thinking, is it worth it? So a lot of the times with the smaller promoters, they're just going to let it go. I know Barry Mcguigan's a very fiery character, a lot more fiery than somebody like Mick Hennessy. Barry Mcguigan, obviously a former fighter himself, so he might fight harder than a Mick Hennessy, but ultimately, can he fight this battle on two fronts? Is he going to fight the legal case with Frampton and another one with Josh Taylor? It could bankrupt the Mcguigan's. Let's see what happens here, people. I guess the main thing which people are looking at is the split between Josh Taylor and Shane McGuigan, which seems inevitable at this point. Shane McGuigan apparently put something up on, I believe it was his Instagram or whatever, and it said, if you want loyalty, get a dog. And he had a big thumbs down on the picture. So yeah, it would appear as though Shane McGuigan and Josh Taylor are no more. A lot of people are saying that's a shame because they seem to work well together. I think Shane McGuigan is somewhat hampered by the fact that he's working with fighters who are signed to the family business. I think that actually hampers Shane McGuigan. I think it'd be better, and obviously he's working with fighters outside of the family business as well. He's working with Lawrence Okolie, he's working with, several other fighters who are not signed to Cyclone. I mean, previously he was working with George Groves, right? He wasn't a Cyclone fighter. I think it would be in Shane McGuigan's best interest, just as a trainer, just being, selfish for a second, to try and stick to working with fighters who are not signed with Cyclone. Because if, they decide to leave Cyclone, he could, or they decide to change their promotional situation, he can stay on with them. He doesn't have to split up with these fighters who he works very well with. But it seems as though, because let's be real, the trainer-fighter situation between Josh Taylor and Shane McGuigan seemed to be working well. There didn't seem to be any issues there. We don't know what things are going on behind the scenes, but at least on the surface, that's how it seemed to be. It's just the fact that Josh Taylor, seemingly wasn't happy with the business element of it with regards to Cyclone, rather than him being unhappy with the training element. You understand? So Shane McGuigan might want to look at that. Just stick to training fighters who are not with Cyclone and just leave the whole Cyclone thing to his dad and his mom or whatever. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. It's happening about. Join me on Patreon. I upload a minimum of 2 podcasts every single week, covering a wide variety of controversial topics, as well as live stream Q&A sessions. Take a look on screen right now at some of the podcasts I've produced so far. For just $3 a month, the equivalent of about £2 a month, you get access to all my new podcasts and my entire back catalogue of past podcasts, including my popular Confessions of a Nightclub Bouncer series. You can listen on your computer or on your smartphone or tablet by downloading the Patreon app from the Google Play Store or the App Store for free. The Patreon app also allows you to download each podcast in MP3. For less than the price of a cup of coffee, you get access to dozens of hours of exclusive content. It's easy to sign up, there's no contract, and you can cancel at any time. So come and join our community of free and critical thinkers by signing up with me here on Patreon today.